Hey everybody, I just wanted to tell you about this beautiful park in Helen, Georgia, Unicoi State Park. Now, I've had lots of history with Unicoi State Park. I was employed there a little over a year ago, but I was there for almost 9 years. Don't get me wrong, Unicoi State Park is beautiful. It's a beautiful park. Got hiking, fishing. It's just beautiful scenery all through the park. But last year they I guess you say they took a turn for the worse. Um, they went privatized. Uh, don't know why. And I mean, the company that took them over, or leasing Unicoi State Park, they're just driving it into the ground. Um, I know Unicoi tried to privatize it once before with a company called AmFac, and that only lasted maybe 7 months because AmFac was just driving it into the ground too, like Coral is doing at the moment. But I started working there in 2003. I started as a dishwasher, and we were pretty busy. The first 3 months, I was mainly working overtime for 3 months straight. But then they laid everybody off for 3 months because they were gonna fix the kitchen floor. I mean, not actually fix it. They were gonna redo the whole kitchen floor and expand the waitress area. And so when we came back in March of 2004, I me and another guy were the only ones that came back that were in the dish pit. And probably a couple weeks after we came back, I went started cooking in the kitchen and have been there ever since. But I want to tell you my experiences working for the park and working for the state and DNR. For the first couple of years, it was a great job. I considered Unicoi State Park home away from home. Um, there was a lot of times where I put Unicoi in front of my family um, because I just fell in love with the park. I mean, I loved my family too, but Unicoi was paying our way of life, and I was making really, really good money. But we wanted to try stuff that was different, and with the food and try new things, and they were real picky about it. I mean, we had a set base of customers that would come in all the time during the week, on the weekends. I mean, we were cooking some really, really good food, and the word was spreading. And I'm not just talking about spreading throughout the state of Georgia. It was going all the way down south into Florida, um, North and South Carolina, uh, way up north in Michigan, um, out west to people like Texas and Arizona, Colorado. I mean, the the word was spreading how good our food was, and we had fried mountain trout every night. Um, that was one of our specialties, was the trout. I mean, yeah, it was buffet and all you can eat, and people enjoyed it very, very much. And we had a good crew, and we had a really good executive chef. Um, she's a, a very dear friend of mine. Um, we got close in our friendship. I would watch her back, she would watch mine over the years, and in fact, I'm working with her still at her and her husband's restaurant. I mean, they're just a really nice people, and I would do anything for either one of them because they're really good friends. But we had a good crew at Unicoi and good wait staff, and we're making a good profit. I mean, we're raking in the money that we were carrying Amacola Falls, which is another state park, on our shoulders, keeping them running. We were doing that good. But then they started having the state of Georgia started having issues with their budget, and it it caused some of us to have take furloughs. I know it just wasn't us that was taking furloughs. It was teachers, other state employees, and the furloughs had lasted for like maybe a year and a half. And I think it wasn't. Nobody didn't really know what to do. I mean, the only person you could blame was the state of Georgia. I mean, here you got a huge, one of the top five biggest parks in the state, making a killing, you know, bringing in a shitload of money. And you want to spend the money foolishly, you know, buying shit you don't need. I mean, who in their right mind would buy leather furniture to put in the building common rooms? Don't they know leather is the easiest shit to fucking tear? That was a waste of money. But it just after the first five after the first 5 years, everything just started like going downhill. Even though we were still making money and stuff, and I think what really fucked DNR up and fucked state of Georgia up is they had made everybody salary, and they thought they were going to save big bucks by doing that. Well, that didn't happen. That fucked them up bigger than shit. because they were paying millions for each person to have insurance. So they fucked themselves, and so they wouldn't take the blame. They started cutting people. Well, eventually everybody got cut. Um, uh, I was one of the last to get cut, and it it pissed me off when I got cut. Believe it or not, for everything that I did for this part. I mean, on snow, like during the years that I was there, we had some snow days that had fallen, and I basically volunteered to stay so the restaurant would stay open, and just in case we had guests, so they would have something to eat. But they did. We wanted to try new things, and they wouldn't let us. They were being picky, and then the rumor came around that they were going to go. First, the rumor was that somehow they came up with $8 million, and they were gonna add like a bar in one of the rooms, and add this and that, and it sounded too fishy. And then like right at the last moment, I had already been gone by this time, but right at the last moment they told everybody that it was going to go privatized, that a company called Coral was going to take Unicoi over. They were going to lease it out, and they're going to make all of these changes. And as soon as they took over, there's still a few people that I've worked with all those years that are still there, and because they love that place, and I respect them for staying. But now they're dreading it, still working there, because it's not the same atmosphere that we built, you know. It's just not fun anymore. But the company Coral took it over in December, and they have a resort called Brasstown in Young Harris, Georgia, right outside Hiawassee. And I think what they're trying to do is turn the park into a resort like Brasstown. And why try? It's not going to work. You know? I mean, they jacked the prices up on their food. Like Sunday, they have a brunch for like almost $22. Who's gonna pay $22 for fucking brunch on Sunday? Nobody. And I've seen people that used to go up to Unicoi all the time while we were there and eat our food. And they tell me, the food sucks. It's the price is too high, and there's not a variety like how we had, and the food just isn't any good anymore like it used to be. I mean, I've had people, while I was there cooking, they would call the kitchen to ask if certain people were there cooking before they came up, you know. Just, I mean, I've had people call the kitchen and ask if, is Ben cooking? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm here, and they're like, well, we're on our way, We love your, we love your food, We just wanted to call and see if you're there cooking, before we came up. I mean, that makes you feel good. It makes you feel good when you go out to check the line and people that are eating your food stop eating and get up from their table to walk up to you and tell you your food is delicious, you know. Certain foods that we had, they would come up and be like, those are the best ribs or best this or best that I've had in a very long time. I mean, that makes a cook feel good, when they get up, stop eating, and come up from their table and tell you that, I've had people come all the way from Florida wanting to know recipes for my tomato basil soup. They would want recipes. And that makes a cook feel really, really good. But since Coral took it over, they have lost 95% of all those customers that we had. They don't go there anymore. So don't that tell you something, Coral? What you're doing is wrong, you know? You're supposed to bring people in, not drive them away. And the food and beverage director that they have there now, I've talked to him a couple times trying to get back in there and just telling him, what we used to do, and he looks at you like you're stupid. You know what? If you knew what the fuck you were doing, you wouldn't be losing money, you'd be making money like we used to. Okay? I mean, you think you're improving it? You're not improving it, trust me. The only thing you're doing to that part is giving it a bad name. You're digging a hole, throwing a park in it, ready to cover it up and put the tombstone in. Because you're doing nothing but killing the name of that wonderful park. So, go back to Brasstown, where you belong. You know, what you're trying to do works at Brasstown Resorts. Quit trying to change Unicoi State Park. I mean, there's a lot of people that love that park, and you just drove them away. You know, if me and the old crew were back in there, I guarantee you that all those people that we used to have and that made us successful, it would happen again. Just to prove to you that we were the fucking best. And we were for years and years and years. And all that hard work that we put into Unicoi and made a name for that park, you're destroying it. I mean, so go back to Brasstown. Run it the way you always have, Don't try to change Unicoi. There's a lot of people that don't want Unicoi to change, you know?